Hello, my Italian food fanatics. Well, today we're going to make baked ricotta chicken. It's going to be phenomenal. You know why? Because we're going to start out with all the high quality products. We're going to use a non-GMO, free-range, air-dried, USDA organic chicken breasts. We're going to use some marinara sauce. We're going to use a ricotta, a full-fat ricotta, some Parmesan cheese. We'll get some basil in there. We're going to throw a little bit of a ricotta salata as well. It's going to be fabulous. But before we do that, please, a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell so you'll be notified when I release new videos, share, and also leave a comment down below. But before we go into the kitchen, I got to make a shout out to Mateus. He's come through again, one of our fabulous Italian food fanatics from a town just north of Frankfurt in Germany. Look at these beautiful pictures. He made a risotto Milanese with bone marrow. I mean, does that look phenomenal? If you've ever had ossobuco, or ossobuco Milanese, essentially, you have been given, if you go to a really good restaurant, they'll give you a little spoon, and that's used to pull out the bone marrow from the center of the veal shank. And let me tell you, that is a religious experience the first time you taste that. It's absolutely delicious. It's a little off-putting for some people, but once you understand what you're doing, it is otherworldly. It's up there with foie gras, believe it or not, in my opinion, especially veal, that veal shank, and when it's done the right way. Anyway, Mateus has used that, I believe it's beef marrow that he's used in there and mixed in. It must have been, what a luscious consistency it must have been. Anyway, Mateus, thank you again very, very, very much from all of the other Italian food fanatics and myself as well. So now, without any further ado, let's get into the kitchen and let's make this baked ricotta chicken. It's going to be phenomenal. See you on the other side. All right, let's get started. For baked ricotta chicken, we're going to need some ricotta. We're also going to use some organic oregano. We need some grated Parmigiano-Reggiano. We need some salt, and of course, some pepper. Now, these are all going to be mixed together. We're also going to need some marinara sauce, and we are going to use some chicken, obviously, since it's baked chicken. Well, we need to preheat the oven to 425 degrees, and we're going to use a 3-step breading process, which is common, and I'm sure most of you watching this channel understand what it is. If not, I'll be doing that, and I'll show you how that's done. But let me preheat the oven, and then we'll come back and mix all this stuff up. Okay, I don't want to take up a lot of time doing this. We take a little bit of oregano. That's about enough. That's, believe it or not, how it's done. I can give you exact amounts. Take about a third of that in the ricotta, A little bit of pepper. Seems like a lot more than it really is. And a small amount of kosher salt. Why? Because the Parmesan cheese already has some salt in it. Now we'll mix all of this up, and I'll be right back. All right, so we've mixed it up, and if your ricotta is a little bit watery, you don't have to worry. If you mix in the Parmesan cheese with it, it will tighten it all up. So let's give this a taste. And that tastes fantastic. Wow, that's very, very good. So we'll leave this like this, and now let's get to fabricating the chicken. All right, here we have our chicken, and I'm not being paid by Rosie or anybody like that. I just want to show you what my philosophy is with regard to any sort of meat that we eat. First of all, we have verified non-GMO. It's animal welfare certified. It's USDA organic, sustainably farmed, air chilled. Okay, they're boneless and skinless breasts. Now, do I believe everything that they tell us about all of this, whether it's non-GMO, fresh, organic, air chilled, all of these things? I'm not exactly 100% sure. However, this is the best that I can really do. By ingesting and spending my money on products that are non-GMO verified and organic, I help put money into those pockets that do this sort of work. And the more money that flows into that area, the more this will become prevalent and will become common practice. And I think that that's the right way to go with regard to animal husbandry and the way we raise animals and butcher them and consume them. If we didn't care, then we'd be ingesting all kinds of hormones and things like that. So I'm going to get off my soapbox, but this is my philosophy and thinking. And so now let's fabricate the chicken. Okay, here are the chicken breasts. Now, to be quite honest, I'm not impressed. Okay, they've been cut. This is about the only one that's reasonably normal, and even that is not to my liking. However, we have to do with what we have, and there was no way that I could have known. I've bought this brand in the past, and it's been really good. I just happened to open this particular one, and I got something I didn't expect. So we are going to trim the little bit of fat that's on here off. And in certain ways, if we kind of look at it from a different perspective, because this has been cut down a little bit, it's actually going to be good, because we are going to use a meat pounder and flatten these breasts so that they cook a little bit more evenly. So a lot of our work has already been done for us, unbeknownst to us, by the butcher. So that's good there. We don't want to take too much of it. These are sinews. This stuff has to be removed here. Anyway, I'm going to do all that, and I will come back. All right, as you can see, I've placed these 3 breasts that we've trimmed in between 2 pieces of plastic wrap. Now we're going to take one of these and very gently, okay? Now I'm not going to do this because it's going to vibrate the camera, but very, very gently, and I mean gently, we are going to press it down to even out the breasts. Now remember what I said, that the fabrication that was done at the factory or whatever made our job kind of easy, because normally the breasts are bulbous like this and they go down to a small taper and eventually the tail end of it. But I don't know what was done here. I don't know what happened. Maybe a certain bad part was cut out. I'm not sure, but we're going to use that to our advantage. So I will take care of this and be back in a moment. Okay, so now that's done. You can see that they're all pretty much even. We're now going to give them a little bit of seasoning with some salt and pepper. Actually, we're going to use salt. I'm not going to use pepper. Those of you who know me know that I do not like using pepper in food that's going to be cooked on higher heat, and that's exactly what we're going to do here. So there's that. I'll turn them over. I'll do the other side, and we'll come back and bread them. All right, we're back. For those of you who understand the 3-step breading procedure, this should be nothing new, but we will dredge the breasts in flour first. I don't like to season the flour. I like to actually season the meat like we did before, because I believe seasoning the flour is a waste of time, and because there's a lot of flour that doesn't get used, and for that reason, why season the flour when you can actually season the meat? That's my thinking. If somebody can prove me, can show me that my thinking is not proper, or that there's a better way to do it by seasoning the flour, I'm all ears. So now we we dredge these in flour, and then we're going to wipe off the excess, or not wipe off, but pat off the excess, and then it goes into our egg wash, which is over here. Okay, and I'll be back with that. All right, so we have our cutlets breaded, and now let's head on to the stove. All right, what I have done is I brought out the cast iron pan, and I've had this heating up. I can't really even touch the handle. It's been heating up slowly on a low heat for probably half an hour, 45 minutes. I want it to be screaming hot. I want it an even heat, all right? Even heat distribution, because we're gonna put these cutlets, these chicken breasts in there. They're instantly gonna cool down the cast iron, and so we want to get it as hot and as full of heat as possible. I'm going to turn up the heat now, and we're going to add in a little bit of olive oil. And when that gets absolutely smoking hot, that's when we're going to add in our cutlets. You can see that it's almost already there. It is smoking. And I'm going to be rather generous with the olive oil, because we want it to go inside of the panko crumbs and really brown it up pretty fast, because they're thin, all right? So you can see how it's almost to temperature. I'll come back when it's really smoking hot, and we're going to add the cutlets. All right, you can see that it is smoking hot. I'm going to turn on the fan, so it's going to get a little more noisy in here, and we are going to add our cutlets into the pan. You want to put them away from you so that they don't splash this way. And you want to leave them alone. Okay, press them down a little bit to ensure that all of the surface area comes in contact with the oil and it goes up in there. And we'll leave them alone and come back in a couple of minutes when they're brown. What you want to do occasionally too is move the pan around, and you do that so that it can cook evenly as well, because it doesn't heat evenly. Even though I have a very nice burner, it's not going to absolutely heat evenly. And look how beautiful and brown, golden brown these cutlets have become. That's exactly what we're looking for. Wow, that's nice. So just another couple of minutes on this side, and we'll be ready to put them in the oven. Okay, let's take a look at the other side, and it looks like they're pretty much done. That's perfect. Believe it or not, look at that. Very, 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 very nice. So here are our cutlets. It's unfortunate we won't be seeing that lovely golden brown color, because we're about to put them now in a glass dish and put them in the oven. So I'll come back when we arrange that. All right, we have our glass Pyrex dish here. We're going to take some of this marinara and we're going to spread it here on the bottom. Just like that. And we'll nestle these chicken breasts in that sauce. Now, the thing about it is that we're going to cover these chicken breasts with our ricotta mixture, and that's almost a shame because you wouldn't be able to see, you're not going to be able to see how beautiful these chicken breasts are. However, regardless, you have to know that this browning represents flavor, and you have to keep that in mind. So it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. And then we'll place a little bit of this ricotta that we made on each one of these breasts. All right, now they're going to go into the oven at 425 degrees for about 15 minutes just to heat everything through. And I'm sure that the cutlets or the chicken breasts are already cooked most of the way. We'll be back when they come out. All right, in the meantime, while we're waiting for our chicken to come to temperature in the oven, we're going to take some basil leaves and give them what is known as a chiffonade cut, or basically ribbons. But I'm going to do this a little bit differently. We stack the leaves one on top of the other, just like this, and then we're going to fold them into a cigar shape. And then very, very finely slice them. Into ribbons, so you can see the ribbons as we get into the larger part of the leaf. You can see the ribbons take form. Now, I don't like to leave them like that, believe it or not. And the reason why is because when you eat them, they go everywhere. So I like to give them, for this particular dish, 2 or 3 slices like this. And that way they're not so stringy. So there's that. And over here, I also have some ricotta salata. This is a sheep's milk cheese, a ricotta that is more like feta. If you can't find ricotta salata, a sheep's milk feta cheese, of which Trader Joe's sells a version, which is very good. That's one of the things that Trader Joe's excels in, is the cheese selection, and pricing is pretty darn good there too. So you can use a sheep's milk feta. Typically, you're going to find one, it has the Greek symbols on it, and it'll say sheep's milk feta. So if you can't find this, that's an excellent alternative. We'll be back when those chickens are ready. Hello, my Italian food fanatics. Well, you saw me plate it up at the beginning of the video, and here it is. Now is the moment of truth. But before I do that, please thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell button so that you're informed of all of the videos that I potentially will release. And also share with your friends and leave a comment down below if you're so inclined to do so. So now let's see if this is any good. Look at that. Wow. It's perfectly seasoned. So good. I love the ricotta salata. You can taste the cheese, of course, obviously the ricotta cheese you can taste, but also the Parmesan is in there. A little bit of hint of that oregano. Of course, the chicken is very nicely cooked. It's juicy. It's not dry at all, and it's perfectly seasoned. I love the marinara sauce. That lends a little bit of a sweetness to it. And obviously with the panko breadcrumbs, you get a little bit of a crunch. It's a complete meal, literally, because you have your protein, you have your vegetables, you have fat, you have it all in here. Unreal. And it looks beautiful on top of that. Wow. You got to try this. It's not that hard to do. In fact, you don't even need to bread the chicken. You can do everything. You don't need the ricotta salata. I added that because I like the flavor. I like the way that it looks on top. And you can just tear the basil. I did a chiffonade, as you saw, because I like to be a little bit fancy. And look, it's green, white, and red. That's the Italian flag. You gotta try this. Go out and get yourself the stuff. Get some organic chicken that's GMO free, free range, air dried, the whole deal. It's worth it. It's a couple, $3 more for a package. Even if it's $5 more, your health and your well-being is worth every penny. Don't you agree? And we want our animals to be raised humanely and butchered humanely. We don't want them, packed in, never having touched the ground with their feet. Oh, wow. I can't wait for another bite. That's fabulous. I'm going to eat the whole thing. Get out there. Get the stuff that you need to make this. It's not that difficult. You can use a jarred marinara sauce if you're so inclined. The Rayo brand, the Rayo marinara, is excellent. It's using real olive oil. It's more expensive, but you'll pay for quality ingredients and craftsmanship, essentially, crafting of that particular sauce. It's the only one that I actually recommend. I haven't tried many of the other ones, but that is a very, very good sauce. Not excellent, but for what it is, it beats literally everybody out. So, thanks for your time. Thanks for your thumbs up. Thanks for your subscriptions. Thanks for ringing the bell. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for leaving a comment. No matter where you are in the world, I wish you well. I hope you have a wonderful day or a wonderful night. Thank you so much again. Bye-bye.